Thank you. So I'm going to go a step back. I've deleted the step definition I created in the last class, but you don't have to make any changes to yours. It's still going to be the same thing. The same code we have inside is what you still have as well. But I just want to take you a step back because I felt like towards the end of the class could be like a bit confusing for people. So I'm going to take you a step back by just creating the step definitions from scratch. So we already have our feature steps or the Gherkin steps for the website. So I'm going to try to open up that website again. Just going to look for that URL if I find it. Okay. So this was the URL we're looking at in the last class, and this is also the URL that we've written the Gherkin steps for. And like I mentioned previously, if you need to create your step definition, all you need to do is to click on the orange highlighted part of your given step. And that's going to be, when you click on the highlighted part, you see this bulb pop up. Then you just click on that, create step definition. And I'm going to give my step definition file a name. So the name I'm going to give it is going to be registration step definition. And I also need to specify the location where I want it stored. I want it stored inside the folder that I have created called step definition. So I'm going to double click on that and click on open. And I'm then going to click on OK. So before I go back into the step definition, I'm going to show you a couple of changes I have made because I had to create an entirely new project from scratch to be able to find a solution to the issue that we had. So in my test runner, this is what I currently have. And I have my glue as, I know most people have step defs, but I've just written my own as step definition. And I've also made sure that the file is also called step definition as well. And my test ng remains the same. My POM file remains the same as well, but it's just sort of modified. So I don't know if everyone has got this dependency inside of their POM file, but if you don't have it, I'm going to send it again. I think it's been sent a couple of times into the group chat, but I'm going to send it again because this dependency is very important. So we would not have to download the Chrome driver anymore. I think I mentioned it in the last class as well. So this dependency is going to pick up the corresponding Chrome driver that matches the Chrome browser that you currently have on your system. So instead of having to like download Chrome driver that matches your Chrome browser like we did the last time, we are going to use the dependency straight away. And yeah, it just makes life easier. You don't have to be like installing and uninstalling Chrome driver of different versions every time your Chrome gets updated to like version 119 or 120. So this dependency will basically just initiates the Chrome driver that matches the Chrome browser. I'm going to take a step back. So this dependency will basically initiate or start up the Chrome driver that matches the Chrome browser on your laptop. So if you have version 115 of Chrome on your laptop, this Chrome driver or this dependency is going to bring up Chrome driver 115 because that is the one that is compatible with the Chrome browser that you have on your system. So, and this is my POM file as well. I have sort of reduced my POM file and modified it also. And then my test runner is also modified as well, just to keep it simple and short. And then moving on to my registration step definition. So like I mentioned in the last class, you may be lucky, the step definition may be created correctly for you, or you can be unlucky like I am right now, where it is not getting created for me. So what I'm just going to do is to copy from an existing project that I currently have. And you can always find syntaxes for step definitions online that you can always copy and modify to suit the step that you want to write it for. So I'm just going to do that now. You can see that once I pasted the step definition, I add the given import automatically imported into my step definition file. So the next thing I need to do is to make sure what I copied is corresponding to the step I want to create. So my given step says, given I navigate to the website. My step definition should also say, given I navigate to the website. So that's good. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to automatically create the rest of the step definitions for the rest of the Gherkin steps. And like I've done previously, I just need to highlight any of the yellow parts, click on the bulb. Then this time around, I'm going to click on create all step definitions. And I want all the step definitions to be created in the existing step definition file that I've created. And that file is called registration step definition. So I'm going to click on that. And once I've done that, all of the other step definitions are, or all of the other steps for the step definitions are now created in my step definition file. So what we did the last time as well was to specify the WebDriver and also create a constructor. So that's just what I'm going to do now. And in order to declare my WebDriver, all I had to do was public static WebDriver. You can see I have a capital W and a capital D for the WebDriver. So you need to take note of that as well. And you can also see that as I am adding a couple of things into my step definition folder, my import up here is also increasing as well. Previously, we had only the given, but when I created step definition for the and step, and then the when step, and then the then the importer also imported as well. And the same thing also goes for the WebDriver also. You can see the WebDriver import here as well. So I'm going to create an instance of this WebDriver and call it driver. And then the next thing I have to do was create the constructor also. So we have public, and the constructor name has to match the name of this class as well. So all I can do is to just simply copy this one so I don't have any typographical errors. So once I've done that, I'm then going to finish up with the bracket and the curly bracket as well. And in the last class, we were specifying our WebDriver instance. So what we had in our previous class, I'm just going to copy what we had in our previous class. We had something like this that started with system.setProperty. And I noticed a couple of people were making mistakes in the WebDriver here. Some people add capital W, some people add capital D. Everything needs to be in lower cases. Because like I said previously, Java is case sensitive. So if something is meant to be a capital W, it needs to be capital. If it's meant to be a small w, it needs to be small. And then for a Mac user, you wouldn't have .exe. For a Windows user, for your Chrome driver path, you need to have .exe. And I think, yep, so this was what we had in the last class that we had. But now that we've added this dependency into our POM, this WebDriver Manager dependency, we would no longer be needing this one just to make our lives easy. So what we're going to be having now is, if you want to declare your WebDriver instance, all you need to do is to call the WebDriver Manager. That's going to be the WebDriver. manager, the very first one. You can see is capital W, capital D, capital M. You need to take note of that. WebDriver manager dot Chrome driver dot set up. And then I'm then going to like declare my driver instance here, like we did in the last class as well. That was driver equals new Chrome driver. And most people usually forget the semicolon at the end. If you don't have a semicolon at the end, you can already see it showing a red tiny line. Let me see if I can increase the brightness on my laptop. So you can see it showing the red tiny line, and you can also see it showing 1 error, 2 typos, and you can also see this red thing at the side here. And even when you place your cursor on that, it's going to tell you what is sort of expected or what is missing. And it's already telling you a semicolon is expected. So all you need to do is to just insert it there by yourself. So now that we've declared our Chrome driver, and we've also declared an instance of the Chrome driver as well, the next thing we did was to declare the URL we want our Chrome driver to navigate to. So, and can someone tell me how you declare or how you specify the URL you want Chrome driver to navigate to again? Just quickly.
Driver.get.
Thank you. That's driver.get. So you can see when I click on driver dot, these are the different actions you can perform with WebDriver. You can perform close, quit, get, navigate, find elements, get current URL, get title. So these are some of the different methods that you potentially use later on. We can use switch to manage. We're going to use manage today. And we're going to be using .quit, .get, .find elements, just a singular one today as well. And we'll use .manage also. So in order to specify the URL, I just need to say driver.get. And even the driver.get has different types as well, but we want the one that has the string URL. So that's going to be the first one. So I'm just going to press enter. And then all I need to do is to copy and paste the URL I want to navigate to. Copy that and just double quotes, then paste the URL there. Good. So in the last class, I'm just going to ask you to ignore everything I'm doing now. Right. So in the last class, I believe we did not have this glue filled in. And I definitely know that my own project had build on that year as well. So I removed the build project I just added, but from the start, from the get-go, my project had build. And I don't think the glue was also filled in as well. So how did I get to this place? People probably ask me. You would see, I don't know what to call it, but yeah, you'll basically just see something here. So in most cases, when you've not run your test before, you can probably just try running your test, or you can just click on this drop-down arrow here. So when you click on that, then you click on edit configuration. So this is basically another part of IntelliJ settings that you'll probably be using in a normal working environment or later on as well. So we have the different configurations you can use. Are you running your test using TestNG, using JUnit, using Maven? You can select any of the configurations here and then do further modifications as well. But we're not going to click on that. We are basically just going to click. So this Cucumber Java came up when my test ran the very first time. So all I needed to do was to click on that drop-down arrow, click on edit configuration. Then I don't think my glue was added here, or my feature file path was showing correctly as registration.feature. So all I needed to do for this glue was just to type the same folder name that I have here. I basically just typed it here as well. And then the other thing that I Googled online. Okay, I'm just going to show you guys. So this was built from the very get-go, and I'm just going to click on apply, then okay. So what I'm going to say is when it comes to automation, Google is going to be your friend. Asking people for help is also something you want to do as well. Sorry, just a minute. So the issue that we initially had last week was our feature file was not binding with our step definition. And all Oyin and I had to do was to type the error we were currently having. Let me see if I can get the error again. So this is just a couple of troubleshooting. It's not even a couple. You would have to do a lot of troubleshooting. You can be trying to automate a specific scenario. Please don't tell me this is going to work. But as I was saying, so there are some times that you probably have issues trying to figure out why your test isn't running or anything like that. So a couple of the issues I've encountered is either because I probably didn't add like a full stop somewhere, or I'm just missing like a bracket and IntelliJ didn't pick it up, even though it's meant to pick it up. So there are sometimes I miss a couple of things like that, and I'm just wondering why my test isn't running. Or another issue could be my Chrome driver, my Chrome browser are not compatible. And then it's just not easy to figure those sort of things out. So what I always do is to either ask a colleague of mine just to help me take a look at my code, because there's nothing bad in having a second eye look at your code. Or another thing I always do is to honestly check Google. And all I need to do, I think I still have an example of the issue I was having. So just give me a minute, I'll try to find that out. So the last issue we're having was step definition. Step undefined, you can implement the step using the snippet below. So that was the issue we're having. So my step definition was not compatible. So I know obviously you can see that I've had to click on different links, and I've also had to use like modify this error that I'm having in order to find further solutions as well. So a popular website people use is Stack Overflow. I know because of the whole AI thing now, people use ChatGPT. There is also something called GitHub AI Copilot. So those are the couple of things. So GitHub AI Copilot is like an extension you can add in your IntelliJ, and it basically just sort of suggests codes for you to use. You can accept the suggestion and modify it to suit what you want. And then it's also like ChatGPT also, but I think the GitHub Copilot is just basically code-based. There's nothing, if you ask it anything about politics or a birthday invitation, it's not going to give you any suggestion. It's just code-based, I believe. But ChatGPT, you can obviously ask it a lot of questions. You can ask it for solutions as well. But I don't know why I did not ask ChatGPT this time around. I probably just forgot. But I just went to my random Google and I just looked on Stack Overflow, and I just found a couple of solutions that I could try. So a couple of the solutions here, I tried it. Only also suggested a couple of things as well for me to try. And I think one of the solutions I found, so this one says Maven test. I know this was not going to work for me, so I didn't even bother trying it. And then let me see. Yeah, so this one is suggesting that you, so the person that posted this issue posted this test runner with all of these things in there, and the glue was a bit long, but then the person was suggesting that you just use like the package name alone, just step definition. So that did not work for me as well, because I know I don't have issues with my test runner. So basically what I'm just trying to say is that Google is going to be your friend. AI websites are going to be your friends as well. And I would always say that you should not just pick every solution and try it. You should pick solutions you'll be able to like cancel or like delete easily, because there are some solutions that you try that would probably just maybe any solutions you try on your terminal, they could make permanent effect on your system or anything like that. And that's me speaking from experience. I found a solution online. I tried it on my terminal or my command prompt, and I've just not really been able to use my command prompt the same way again. So I always say, don't just use every single solution you find, or everyone that you know you can easily like do a Control-Z for or Control-Delete for, that always go back to the way your laptop was before. But so basically Google is going to be your friend. Perfect. So this was the solution I found that worked for me. You can see it says open run / debug configuration here under before launch, and remove project option. I said I had project option before, and select project build and apply. So in my IntelliJ, I add build before, and then I needed to remove this, then change it to build project. But before I do that, I'm going to check the result. Perfect. So this was the issue we're having at the very start. And I think a couple of people were also having this as well. So I'm going to try the solution I just found now, which was telling me to delete or remove this project here, the build option here. So when I highlight it, I'm going to click on the minus sign, and I'm going to click on the plus sign and select build project. And I'm going to click on apply and OK. So now I'm going to try running my test again, and fingers crossed that should launch my website for me. So you can see the WebDriver is opening up, and it's obviously launched the website for me. And if I go back, you can see test passed, one scenario, 15 passed. So it's saying 15 passed because I don't have any codes and the other steps that I currently have. So obviously it's just going to take it as no codes are applied. So there's nothing you want me to do on the page, basically. But this is the current solution that I currently have. But for everyone that your Chrome is opening up, I'm probably loading the page as well, you don't need to do any of this change, but I'm going to ask you to still share your screen. So right now I'm going to stop here, and then ask Emmanuel to first share his screen, then George, then maybe one person with a Mac and another person with a Windows. So that's 4 people in total before we move on with the rest of the class. So Emmanuel, can you share your screen, please? Oh, Ade, you have your hand up.
Okay.
But Emmanuel, please share your screen.
Okay.
Yeah. Ade, you have your hand up.
Yeah, hi, good evening, Odin. I just wanted to ask, when you created that WebDriver instance, going back to the year, so why didn't you use the new keyword? Is that like a shortcut to
Why did I
create
use
the
a
instance?
new keyword?
Why didn't you use the new keyword? At the top, public static WebDriver driver. Because I thought it was going to be like WebDriver driver, new WebDriver.
Wait, I'm trying to understand your question. Sorry, can you come again, please? So I'm looking at Emmanuel's screen now. So can you just specify the line? Is it line 16?
No, line 12.
Line 12. So, okay,
Yeah.
can you repeat your question again?
Just asking, when you created that instance of WebDriver,
Yep.
yeah, why didn't you use the new keyword?
The new keyword.
Like
So
at the bottom that you have. Yeah, go on, sorry.
Yeah, so I easily could have said public static WebDriver equals new Chrome driver.
Yeah.
I can do that, but because, okay, I think I can just can I quickly share my screen? Sorry. Yeah, thank you. So the reason why I did that, so the reason why I have specified this one at the very top is, so the reason why I've specified, I've created an instance of WebDriver as driver is because if I need to make any change anywhere within my project or anywhere within my files, I know that I've only specified it in one place and I can easily go there and change it. But for instance, assuming I don't have this one here, and I just have it as public web driver. Let me add this start. Identifier expected. Right. Okay. So WebDriver itself is an interface, and it needs to be specified either like this or like this. So we cannot say public static WebDriver equals new Chrome driver. So this is an interface, so it needs to be specified on its own. But I get what you mean. There are going to be some cases where we are specifying specific strings or arrays, and we can easily do them outside of the constructor or outside of the method, or we can do them inside the method together as well. So we're going to be looking at that. But for WebDriver, your WebDriver needs to be specified outside the constructor.
Okay, thanks, Amy. Thanks for this.
Could you share screen now, Emmanuel, please? Okay. Can you go to the feature registration at the very top of your screen where we can click on edit configuration?
Please, can you say that again?
Can you click on the edit configuration option, please?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, edit configuration. Okay. Okay, can you click on OK? And then can I see your POM file? Okay, I just want you to scroll down gently. Yeah, keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Yeah, keep scrolling, please. And scroll to the very top as well. Okay, that's fine. So if you... So I'm just trying to compare. So can you try to run the feature file now? I want to see what's going to happen. Can I see your step definition first of all? Sorry. Yeah, so WebDriver. And if you scroll to the side, I want to see the path that you have. Okay. Now, can you run the feature file for me, please? Hold on. Okay. Okay, it looks like your one is working fine. So we're definitely not going to tamper with anything there. That is fine. So if you go back to your code, your step definition code now, we are gonna try to add something else to your step definition file. And you can see that when you opened up the Chrome driver, it was not expanding fully, like it was not expanding to the size of your screen. So in order to change that, we need to tell Chrome driver to maximize the screen to the fullest, like to your screen size. So if you go under, can you scroll to the left side, please? And you can see on line 21, you see the first curly bracket. Can you click on that? The one before driver.get, click on it.
This?
Yes, good. Now go to the end of line 22 and press enter. Now type driver dot manage dot window. Yeah, click on enter. No, you need to go back. You need to click on, type the E again, delete the E, then put the E again. Press enter. Dot window. Yeah, press enter. Dot maximize. Press enter. Good. Now try running the test again, then you see the difference. Wait, what? Can you go back to your IntelliJ? That shouldn't have passed. It should have expanded the screen.
I was thinking, does it save automatically? Because
Yeah,
maybe
so
you needed.
IntelliJ saves automatically. Yes, it does.
Oh, I see.
I think it's supposed to be up, not there.
I'm just trying something from my end. Yeah, mine is working, so I'm not sure why yours isn't working. Did you like zoom out and zoom in of your screen?
Say that again, please.
Sorry, did you zoom out and zoom in? Like, did you change the orientation of your screen?
No.
Okay. I'm not sure why that isn't working, but we can always look at that later on.
I think it's supposed to be under the Chrome driver. You see?
No, it can be here as well. Well, yeah, let's try under the Chrome driver as well. So can you copy that? Copy line 23. And before you paste it, can you comment out line 23 for me? Good. And if you scroll to the top, so after line 16, press enter and paste what you just copied.
I need to enter it, or is all right?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Can you try to run it now? Run the test again. Let's see what happens. I don't know if it's because the website is taking a long time to load.
If you can send the link to the one you're working on, so if I can just change, instead of using this, if I can just paste that.
Okay, that's fine. Can you go back to your IntelliJ? I'll send the link to you. You can try it at the back, but I'm going to have to look at someone else's screen now.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, but you can try it. I'm going to send the link into the Zoom chat.
okay.
I can't do that. I have to send it to Telegram.
Thank you.
So try that and then let me know in Telegram as well if that works for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so George, can you quickly share your screen, please?
Okay.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, can you try to run it now?
Hmm.
You just need to right click on the feature file. Okay. Okay, can I see the URL again? Can you scroll down on the error in the console?
All the way down.
Just scroll back up a bit. I just want to see something at the very start. Okay, can you scroll down? Down, keep scrolling down, please. Do you know if this URL is working? If you copy and paste it in Chrome or any website, any browser?
Yeah, it's working. It's the one we are using to test. But I don't know why it's not open. I can't launch
Just
as
a
well.
minute. That's QA dot. Right. Not sure why that URL isn't opening up. Yeah, let me just quickly, let me try it from my own end in my project. I'll see what it says. I'm just trying it from my end now. Just a minute. Yeah, so it's working for me. It's working for me. I'm not sure why it's not opening up for you. Can I see the Chrome instance that was opened up now?
You want me to run again? Oh,
Now, just have you closed the Chrome that was opened up now?
yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
close
can
it.
you run it again, please? I just want to see. Because it definitely opened up for me and it maximized my screen as well. It just took a bit of time. Can you try the URL that I just sent into the link into the hold on a minute. Can you scroll down again for me?
We're on the here.
IntelliJ, yes. Just hold on. Can you go back up? Invalid status code. Forbidden 403. I want you to try the URL I sent into the, hold on a minute. Your line 14 is so wrong. Line 14, I said, whatever you're writing in Java is case sensitive. You should cap small w, small d, small c, a dot, then driver. Dot.
Is it
driver.
Okay.
There shouldn't be a space before the D as well. Can you try running it now? Okay, can you go back to Chrome, to IntelliJ, sorry. And if you scroll to the left-hand side, I just want to see. No, on your step definition, can you scroll to the, is it to the right or to the left? Yeah, just scroll to the end. Right, okay. Can you go back, scroll back again, please? And if you scroll up, I just want to see what's at the very top of your step definition. And if we scroll down, okay. Everything else looks correct, but can you try the URL that I sent into the Telegram chat? And let me know in Telegram if it works for you as well, but I'm going to have to ask somebody else to share their screen now. Anyone with a Mac device or anyone whose window isn't coming up.
Hi.
Yeah. Oh, Comfort.
Sorry, can I share my screen?
Yeah, Comfort is sharing already, but
Okay.
do you have a Windows?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. We'll look at yours shortly.
All right.
Yep. Okay, can I see your POM file as well, please? Okay, and if you open up, okay, just a minute. I'm going to send you something to add to your POM file now. Can you pick that up from the Telegram? Is that okay?
Okay, where do I add it?
I want you to add it after line 18.
Okay. Okay. I'll stop sharing. Thank you.
No. I want you to
okay.
share your screen, yeah.
All right, okay. Mm.
So that's going to be the one I sent by, not everything, please. The one I sent by 902 that starts with dependency.
All right, this.
Yeah.
Right here, 19.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and if we reload the Maven import. So you're not able to load up the Chrome browser, right?
I did.
Was the website showing? So this is still loading at the very bottom.
Okay.
That's fine. Can I see your step definition now, please?
Okay. This or the registration step there.
I want to see the step definition you're working on. That will be the registration step dev. Okay. So after line, can you comment out line 15? And after line 15, I want you to press enter.
So license.
I want you to comment out line 15 first of all. Then after line 15, at the end of line 15, press enter.
You want me to do what in line 15?
I want you to comment out line 15.
How do I do that?
At the can you click on line 15 and then press command enter, command question mark.
Question mark. Yeah.
You can click cancel. Can you press cancel? I don't think you did it properly. I meant to press it together. Press command. Let your hand still be on command and press question mark. Yeah. So at the end of line 15, put your cursor there, then press enter. Now I want you to type WebDriver Manager.
Capital or lower?
I sort of mentioned this already. It should be
No.
capital W. Web driver manager. WebDriver Manager dot. Can someone tell her what she's doing wrong, please? Now you can press enter.
The first or second? Just press enter.
One. Dot Chrome driver. The very first one. Just press enter. Dot setup. Small s. Yeah, the very first one. Okay. Now I want you to run the test for me, please. The feature file for me, please. So we are basically not using the Chrome driver you have on the left-hand side anymore.
Okay.
It's currently building the project. Okay, that's fine. Now, can you go to click on edit configuration? Okay, now can you fill out the value for your glue? If you scroll back to the top, your glue, can you fill in the value, please?
Okay.
You should be able to see it on the left-hand side of your screen.
The diffs.
Okay, and then if you scroll down to the before launch section,
Before, that will be here.
can you scroll down to the before launch section? Click on the build option that we have, click on minus, click on plus, and click on build project. Click on apply, then okay. Okay, now can you try to run the feature file again, please? Is anything happening from your end?
Say that again.
I was asking if anything was happening, or are you still seeing your IntelliJ screen?
Yes, I'm seeing my screen. Can you not see?
Is it just IntelliJ you're seeing?
Yes.
Okay. Clock be taken. Do you have Chrome on your laptop?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Hmm. Yeah, this is taking a bit of time.
Yeah.
Oh, finally. That was long. Can you go back to your IntelliJ? I'm not sure what just happened. And if you scroll down on the console, can you scroll down again, please? Keep scrolling down. Keep scrolling down. Oh, can you go back up a bit? Line 18. Can you run the test again? I don't know why that took so long. And could you minimize IntelliJ as well? Like, click on the green one, yes. That's weird. Why is the URL not opening up for you? So, oh, is that opening up?
Looks like.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why this is taking so long for you also. But yeah, it's working. Right, that's fine. So, I'm just gonna ask you to stop sharing. Then, does anyone have a Windows? Yes,
Please,
right?
just a quick one.
Okay.
Like when I copied in the new URL, so like when I try to run it, it's coming up it was coming up with the old one. Then I now go to the Maven, then do the life cycle, I clean, validate, compile, and test. Then when I now run it again, it now maximize the page, then take me to the new URL.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, thank you for that update. So just
Hello.
I
Yeah, just a quick one. When you said, because last week I did it wasn't working, it was failing. So when you said we should go to the build page, when you open it under the future, okay, can I share my screen, please?
just a minute. I just wanted to ask who was going to share their screen before Dorcas. I think that was Read One. Do you still want to share your screen? Because he was going to share his screen first.
Okay. So my question is, when under that
Yes.
build, I removed the build,
Okay.
then add build project,
Yeah.
then apply, okay, then I run it.
Okay.
Then it's open up, then the test pass. So my question now is, you copy and paste one dependency on the Telegram tonight. Do I
Yeah.
still need to include that dependency on my POM, or I don't need it?
Right.
That's-
So the dependency that we have, I already mentioned that if you don't want to use system.set properties, then specify your Chrome driver location. You can use that dependency. And I'm going to talk about that again when I start the class back up. But it's entirely up to you. If you want to use, if you want
Okay,
to.
okay, that leads to another question, because Chrome will update. So
Yeah.
if Chrome updates, do I need to go and update it again, or it will update automatically on IntelliJ?
Like I mentioned at the very start of the class as well, if you are downloading Chrome driver onto your laptop, every time your Chrome browser updates to like version 120, you have to delete the older version for your Chrome driver and go and download the newer version for the Chrome driver that matches the Chrome browser. But if you are using the dependency that I sent into the group, you don't have to do that because it automatically initiates
Okay, cool.
and matches the version of the Chrome browser you have.
Okay, cool. All right. Thank
Hi,
you.
Oyin.
Hi.
Can I share now, please?
Sorry, Ridwan was going to share his screen.
Well, sorry,
All
before
right, let me
anybody
share.
shares,
Go-
I just wanted to ask, based on the Chrome driver thing. So do we delete the one we've installed already and just use the dependency if that's what we want to go with?
Yep. So if you want to go with the dependency, you can delete the Chrome you already have installed on your laptop or in that folder as well. And you can just go with the dependency. It's just entirely up to you. But I always just say people should use the dependency. It's much more easier.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you don't forget and don't have a headache. All right,
Yeah.
then, thank
And
you.
then another thing is if you are creating a new project, you need to create that. I think you need to download that. If you're using Chrome driver and you're creating a new project, you would need to download another Chrome driver and place it inside your folder. That is if that is what you're going for. But if you're using the plugin, you don't need to do all of those things.
Okay. So I'll
Yeah.
go with plugin. Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's fine. So who's sharing that screen now? Oh, Read One, okay.
Yeah, I'm sharing now, but when I'm official file, see what.
Yeah, number one, I'm so sorry. What do you notice in your project right now?
Right now.
Step definition. You can see everybody's own has got colors. Your own don't have any color on it. And you can also, now if you go back to your feature file, you can see that it is not binding at all. I think the mistake you made, you need to drag. You can see your registration step def is created outside of your step def folder on the left-hand side. Where you have your test runner, your registration step def needs to be inside step defs.
Okay.
So can you click on registration step dev, please, on the left-hand side? On the left-hand side,
Oh, okay.
registration step devs. Click on it, then
Yeah, I've clicked on
drag it. I want you to drag it and drop it in that. Yes, drop it there. Click on refactor. And then if you go under step devs now. Okay, I don't think you created the file properly. Can you delete it? And create a step definition again. No.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You just need to put your cursor. Yeah. Okay, not that one. You need to put your cursor on the yellow part of the given step. Okay, then change the name.
Oh,
That's fine. You can always change the name by clicking on the step dev folder. Right click on the, no, double click on the step dev folder. Then you need to double click on it. Then you basically need to expand it. No right click, double click. Right click on that, my step devs, then click on, I think it's refactor, and click on rename. Then change it to what you want it to be called. You can't just call it step definition. Is it registration? What's the step definition doing? Like, what's it going to be about?
okay. Can I add the registration? No.
Registration, you can just put the registration at the very start. And then you need to delete lines 4 to 7. And you add a curly bracket at the end.
Yeah.
On line 5.
Oh, okay.
And then I sent something into Telegram just now. Can you copy that for me, please?
What should I paste it?
On line 4. And if you put your cursor on the given, press Alt Enter, or you can say import class.
Where can I do?
Yeah, so now I'm just going to leave it to do the rest of the other step definitions and every other thing else, so I can move on with what we're actually going to look into today.
As a creator step creator.
Did you click on the and? You need to click on the yellow part, not the... Just click on it, then click on the bulb. Yeah, so you can do the rest. You probably need to watch the rest of the videos again because your step definition was not initially created properly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you need to create the declare the WebDriver, the constructor, then
Okay.
add the URLs and try to run the test. And if it doesn't work, or
Okay.
you're getting an error relating to your feature file and your step devs not binding, then you can then go to edit configuration, remove project,
Okay.
and add build project instead. Or let us know in the chat if you need any help.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think we're just going to move on to what we need to do for today. We've taken a lot of time, but hopefully we should be able to catch up. I'm just going to go back to share my screen now. Yeah. So in the last, so someone did ask me that for the POM file, where can you get all of these, or do you need to like memorize them, or do you need to have them saved somewhere? So all of these dependencies and plugins can be found on the Maven repository website. And it is also one of the websites you would be using if you are going to be an automation tester. And I use that website as well in my day-to-day job as well. And for instance, if I want to update the version, you can see some of them have got versions and some of them probably don't have versions, but most of them would have versions on them. So for the WebDriver Manager, for instance, we have the Lombok as well. It's got version 1.18.10. WebDriver Manager has got 5.4.1. So assuming I want to like update the WebDriver Manager version, all I need to do is to go to my Maven repository. So it's like it is an open source. So Maven repository. I don't know if I added the link to the documentation that I sent. Maven repository, the very first one that says mvnrepository.com and WebDriver Manager. And another thing you need to take note of is you can see the group ID is sort of like the URL. So we are looking for this particular one. So, and this is the very first one that comes up. And the current version I currently have is 5.4.1. And the current one we have here is 5.4.1. So that's the updated one. Assuming I want to look for Lombok, assuming I don't have, I'm just going to assume I don't have Lombok dependency here. I don't think we don't use Lombok in the project, but assuming I want to add a Lombok dependency into my path. So all I need to do is to go to Maven repository and search for Lombok. And if I know the project or the type of Lombok I want to use, because there are different types of Lombok. There's this Lombok, but this is the main Lombok that I know, the one that says org.project Lombok. That's what I use at work as well. And assuming I know the type of Lombok I need, I just need to search for Lombok. You can see it found 128 results for me. I'm very sure this is the one I want. So all I need to do is to click on that. And I want the latest version that was released May 25th. So that's 1.18.28. I'm going to click on that one as well. And this is, so it basically shows you based on the project type that you're currently working on. Ours is a Maven project. If you're using Guard, Ivy, Grape, whatever, we are using Maven. So that's the only one that concerns me. All I need to do is to basically just copy it. Copy. And I go back to my project and I'm just going to paste it there. And I need to basically reload Maven import. And that should be me adding a new dependency into my project. So Maven repository is basically one of the websites you need to be aware of. So if you don't have any of the dependencies here, for instance, you can go on Maven repository and look for them yourself if you know the type of dependency you are looking to use in your project. So this is already done. And that is that. So I just wanted to sort of mention that at the start before we continue. So moving on to the next.
Sorry, Oyen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to know, how do you know that you need this dependency for your project if you want to go to the Maven repository and find it? Because before you find it, you have to know what you need. And how do you know that the dependency that you have is what you need for your project?
Okay, so most of the major dependencies that we need in your automation pack, I think it's basically just common knowledge, or you can basically look at other people's project as well. And there could be a case where if you get an automation job, you are probably just joining the project. They already have an existing project on ground and they already have the pump set up. Or you could be the one to set up the automation pack from scratch as well. And that is where you can implement the POM files that I currently have right now. So you can use some of the dependencies in the POM file you currently have, and they are basically universally used as well. I know one of the most important dependencies, or some of the most important dependencies that you need in your pack are what I currently have here. You need a WebDriver, you need a Selenium Java, you need Cucumber Java as well, because you are dealing with a Java project. So those are like the major ones that you need. Cucumber Java, WebDriver Manager, Selenium Java. You can decide to use the Cucumber Test Engine as well. I think it's used for like reporting purposes. If your project is going to be like generating reports or anything like that, then you need the test engine also. And the Pico container, I don't think is really necessary right now. But yeah, honestly, sometimes it's trial and error. Sometimes you can just replicate what you found online. Just try to see if they are needed within your project. If I delete, I definitely know I need Cucumber Java. If I take that out, my step definition is going to show me errors. It's going to show me something is missing. Yep. So it's going to show me something is missing. So this Cucumber Java dependency is what I need for my giving, when, then, and steps in my step definition. So that is what I need for my given, when, then, and steps. So that's how I know that I need this specific dependency. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Right. So I don't want anybody to drop me back again, please. We are like way behind. I was hoping to finish up Locators today, but I'm going to try my possible best in the next 30 to 40 minutes to talk about Locators. Right. So now that we've been able to like open up our web page, and we've been able to open up the URL we want to automate. And for example, I'm just going to assume this was not this one. Yeah. So this is the URL we want to open up. And how do I get the element for, okay. So how do I tell Chrome driver to fill in this field here, or fill in this field, or select yes or no, or select something here? How do I tell it to do that? So this is where your locators come in. And I believe I sent a list of links at the end of last class, and I attached a link to locators there. So when we hear the word locators, so they are basically a way for us to identify elements on a web page. So in order to be able to inspect elements, so you're going to be hearing me say locators, inspect elements, like those are like the major keywords you should be saying also going forward as well. So locators are like a way you identify web elements on a page, or they provide mechanism for identifying web elements on a page. So how do I see the locators that I want to access? I basically just need to right click on anywhere on the page, click on inspect, and then you would see the HTML code, or something we call the DOM, D-O-M. So this is like the HTML code used to create this website. And how do I then, so this is the HTML code we use to create this website. So how do I inspect the first name field? So this is a field. Anything that you have to type in is a field. Anything that is like a drop, like you have to click on and select on, is a drop down. Anything you have to like circular like this, we already know is a radio button. And anything like a square box is a checkbox or a tick box, any of the two. And you can obviously see that for checkboxes, you can select 2 values. For radio button, you can only select 1 value, which is sort of acceptable. Like that is what the developer has decided to do. And obviously that is what checkbox means, and also what radio button means as well. Radio button is a single value, checkbox is 1 or more values are going to be accepted. And fields like this are what we have to type in, and select buttons like this are what we call like drop downs. So now how do I select, or how do I inspect rather, the first name field? So all I need to do is to click on, you can see this icon that says select an element in the page to inspect it. So that is the very one here. You click on that and you would notice something different happen. You can see it changing in blue. If I go to the first name field, I want you to look at the right-hand side of the DOM. I'm going to be calling this DOM going forward, the HTML code or the DOM. So I want you to look at the right-hand side of the DOM, and you can see it brought up the HTML code or the element used to create this specific field. So all of this was used to create this field. And if I should click on the one for the last name as well, you would see all of this is used to create this field. So you can see the label shows last. You can see highlighting the label at the bottom, no more the field. But this one is for the field, and this one is for the field and the label together. And the same thing goes for the name. The name has its own code as well. So this is for the name, and this is for the first name field, the field, and then the first name label as well. And we have this one for the last name and the last name label also, like the field and the label. But I want to just basically inspect the field itself, because that is where I want my value to be filled in. So I'm going to click on that one. I'm going to do it again. Click on the icon that says select an element in the page to inspect it. Once I click on that, you will see it in blue. It was initially in white, but once I click on that, it turns to blue. And when I move my cursor, you will see the different highlight on the page. So if I'm going to inspect the name field, for instance, I've clicked on it and you can see it's showing me the different elements I can use to create my locators. So before we move on to pick up any of the elements, I'm going to show you the different elements that we have in Selenium. So this is me sharing another screen, and I think I definitely sent this link in one of the documents that I sent last week. So this is just a reading. I think I sent a lot of reading resources. It's just for you to like read for your own knowledge. Like, what are locators? How do you locate locators in DOM? Basically, right click and click on inspect. And then the different type of locators, yes. So there are different type of locators. You can locate elements in the DOM by ID, name, class name, link text, CSS selector, XPath, or tag names. And this website has perfectly helped us to specify how the syntax is going to look like. We know that when we type driver dots, we did see something that said find element, and I said we're going to use that today. So when you are inspecting an element and you are trying to find the element by the ID locator, this is how the syntax should look like in your code. Just something like this, just as simple as that. Driver.find element, bracket, find by, double quotes, you put the ID in there, then you close all the bracket and you add your semicolon at the end. If you're finding it by name, your syntax is going to be like this. If you're finding it by XPath, your syntax is going to be like this. So basically, the only thing that changes is the type of locator you're trying to do, and then the value of the locator as well. So I can resend this link again for you to just read through for your own knowledge. And yes, so there's also like a video that you can also watch as well for further knowledge. But we're going to be inspecting elements all the time. We inspect elements whenever we are automating. We always inspect elements. You can also create or generate your own locators as well. Like your XPath locators are the only ones that we sort of generate if the current XPath that you have doesn't make sense. So there are some times that your XPaths can just be ridiculously too long. You can always generate that one. We are going to be teaching you that towards the end of the training, like one of the last topics we'll be looking at. So you can always generate your XPath locators. I think I enjoy doing that more because the ones I find in my DOM is just always too long or it doesn't make sense. Or I'm just finding it difficult to like understand what is there. So yeah, we're going to be looking into how to create locators for XPath locators later on. So I can resend this link again, and it's just a very good resource that I found online that I can obviously like read on as well. And they also have like a blog also on like different topics. I think the last time we were looking at, okay, that's too advanced. So I think the last time, yeah, I'm just going to keep quiet for now. But yeah, so we're going to be looking at locators today, basically. So I'm going to I can resend this link so you can obviously look at it and for your further knowledge as well, read through it. So yeah, so moving on back to our IntelliJ or the other screen I had on. Yeah, so now we are going to try to find the elements for the name field. And usually the easiest way to do this is to just right click on the name field element, click on copy. You can also see it says copy selector. Selector means the CSS selector that we saw, which is a type of locator. Copy XPath. Those are like the two major ones we use. So I'm going to copy XPath. And in most cases, I always want to see what type of XPath I'm given. So how do I paste the XPath that I've just copied? So click on this path again and do a Control F if you're using a Windows or a Command F. And you can see that when I did that, something popped up, like this specific field came up when I did a Control F or Command F. And all I need to do is to paste the XPath I just copied. And you can see it's giving me an XPath of 1 of 1, because there are sometimes your XPath can be 1 of 20 or 1 of 5 or 1 of 2, and your XPath that you're going to be using needs to be unique. And the only locator that is always unique is always the ID. So you can see locator, or we can see HTML attributes of ID, HTML attribute of type. We also have HTML attribute of class. We have HTML attribute of name. And in most cases, the only one that is always unique is always the ID. So, but right now, we currently have the locator for XPath here. So I think in today's lesson, I'm going to be looking at locators using the ID and the XPath. So those are the ones we'll be using in today's class. Then later down the line, we can be looking at the one that has the name, the CSS locator, and then we can always look at the partial link text as well, and all the other ones also. But today we'll look at ID and XPath. Good. So the XPath I've copied here is showing me 1 of 1. And you can see that when I clicked, so when I clicked on it, it's showing me that it's only for the first name field. So I'm going to click on that again, and you see it highlighting the first name field. And it's showing me 1 of 1. So XPath, so this is me diverting a bit into XPath. XPath, we have something called the absolute XPath and also the relative XPath. And there is a difference between the two of them. And the one that we should always be using should be the relative XPath. This is a relative XPath, for example. An absolute XPath is the one that starts with /HTML. If you see any XPath that you've copied and it starts with /HTML, that is an absolute XPath, but we do not use that when we are trying to automate our code. So I have another website here that you can read up on absolute and relative XPath, but the only difference is absolute XPath starts with a single slash and relative XPath starts with a double slash. And in most cases, the absolute XPath would have /HTML. That's a single slash, then HTML. But the relative XPath will have a double slash, then the correct code the correct locator you need as well. But I just wanted to know the relative XPath is what we use in automation. We do not use the absolute XPath. I know most people use the absolute XPath and they come back to the workshop and say, oh yeah, my code isn't running, but it's because you're using the absolute XPath and not the relative one. So the relative one with double slash is what we use. Anyone with the absolute one, we discard those ones. And this could be a case where you then have to create your XPath by yourself, or you can resort to using the IDs or the partial link text or any other type if you find that in the HTML DOM for that specific element. So I'm going to share my screen, my other screen again. So this is an example of a relative XPath, and that is what we're going to be using in our code right now. So I've obviously copied this, and moving on to my IntelliJ, I am going to be filling in the code for, let me change this URL here. So I'm going to be filling in the code for this particular step that says, and I fill out the first name and the last name field. But I'm going to do the first name field first of all. So in here, I'm going to start with driver dot find elements. I'm going to go back again because people make mistakes here again. Find element and find elements. Elements is when you're looking for a list of elements, but I'm looking for just one element. So I'm going to pick the element one. Find element by dots. Now, this is where IntelliJ also helps us as well. You can find by XPath, class name, CSS selector, ID, name, link text, partial link text, XPath, tag name, class name. Oh, that's repetition. Oh, by XPath, basically. So I want to look for my locator by XPath because that is what I have copied. So I'm going to say .xpath. And then I'm going to put a double quote in there. And I'm going to paste the XPath I have just copied. So once that has been done, I need to come back to the end of the brackets. And I need to specify an action that I want Chrome driver to do for me. So once it's found the element, what do I want it to do? Can someone tell me what I should be telling Chrome driver to do to this specific field? What do I want it to do?
So type the name.
Good. Very good. Well, instead of the word type, in IntelliJ, we have send keys. So it's going to send a specific value. If you want it to click on something, you just need to click on. You need to specify it by saying .click. If you want it to like delete something in a box, it's .clear. So there are different actions. If you want it to find the size of a word, or you want it to if you wanted to find the size of a word, is get size. If you wanted to capture something, like to capture a specific value in a field, is .get text. If you want Chrome driver to tell you that something is present on a page, is displayed. So I'm going to be using all of these actions as we go along, and they are basically simple to use as well. You can obviously read up on them, like just to see their syntaxes online. You don't have to memorize anything, but just know what they mean and when you're meant to use some things. Because I've seen people that want to tell Chrome driver to send a value into a field, but you're telling it to click. If it clicks on it, then it's not going to do anything else. It's not going to send in the value for you because you've not specified that. So all you need to do here is to tell it what next to do, which is to type in a value for you. But instead of typing, we use the keyword send keys. So I'm going to click on send keys, and I'm going to put a double quote. People forget a double quote as well. You can see when I have the double quote there, when I have the double quote there and I type something in, it's in green. Or if I don't have the double quote and I just type something in, it's in white and it's going to show in red. So that basically means you're missing something. So those are like the key things you need to be like conscious of. Like you basically need to be opening your eyes, be conscious of the colors. That's why I think this is why I like IntelliJ. It tells you when something is off. If it is in all white, something's definitely wrong with your code. IntelliJ should look colorful. I think that's why I like the IDE. Basically tells you when something is off and when something is right as well. So I'm going to put a double quote here. So my first name, what do I want it to fill in? My first name, I'm going to put Oyin. Now, before we move on to the last name field, I'm going to run this and I want you to see what happens. So I'm going to go back to my registration feature, click on run. Good. You can see it loaded the web page. It expanded it to suit my screen resolution. Then it filled in my first name as well. So whatever value you fill in IntelliJ is what is going to be filled in on the website when it runs. So assuming I put Oyin and I click on run, I'm going to fill in the same thing for me as well. So I'm just going to delete that. Right. So we are filled in our first name. Now I want Chrome driver to fill in my last name for me. So I need to do the same thing I've done for the first name field also. I need to inspect the element for this last name field. And how do I do that? Right click on inspect. Then I click on this specific icon that says select an element in the page to inspect it. Click on that, then it turns blue. Then I can move my cursor anywhere on the page. So I want to inspect the last name field. I'm not clicking on last name here. I'm clicking on the field itself. So I'm going to click on the field. Right. So the last time we got our locator by XPath, right? Now I want to get my locator by ID. So I already have the ID attributes here, and that makes it so easy for me to just copy it, go into my IntelliJ, driver to find element by ID, then paste the ID there. So all I need to do if I want to get the ID is to just double click on the ID value, not the ID attribute, the value itself, double click on it, copy it, then go back into my IntelliJ. And in my step definition, I've said I want to fill out the first name and the last name field. So I'm still going to be using the same step definition. Click on enter, then driver dot find element by. This time around, I'm going for ID. And I'm not going to forget my double quotes again. I'm just going to paste my ID in there. And then dots. So it's going to tell me what I want my Chrome driver to do now.
Send the keys.
Good. Dot send keys. And what keys do I want to send? My last name. So I'm going to put my double quotes again. And I'm going to put my last name. And then I'm going to try to run this now. And hopefully Chrome driver should fill in my first name and last name field for me. Run. Perfect. So you can see it's filled in my first name and my last name field for me. Great. So next up, I'm going to do the email. Then I'm also going to try to do the vegan/vegetarian option. Then we'll call it a day from here. But then, okay, maybe we should just do email then the vegan option as well. But for this email and the I'm going to do them together because the vegan option, we need to use another type of method to do that one. I'm going to show us that one today as well. So moving on, I want to fill in my email field. So all I need to do again is basically right click on inspect. Then I need to click on the icon, go to my email field. Great. Then it's showing me email here. So this time around, let me pick it up by XPath. Actually, let's try by name. Let me do something now. Okay. Yep. So let us do this one by name. So another type of locator that we've mentioned is name. So we have a name here. So I'm going to pick up the name, copy that, go back into my code, and I enter my email address. Come in here, driver.find element by name. Double quotes, paste the name in there. And the email field is a field I want something to be sent in. So I'm going to put this dot send keys. So I filled in my email. Great. So before I run that one, I'm going to get a locator for my height as well. So all I need to do is to, again, right click, inspect, click on the icon, then inspect the height field. Good. So this is the height field here highlighted in blue. So this time around, I'm going to pick your by XPath. So I'm going to right click, copy XPath. And like I mentioned previously, I always want to check that my XPath is 1 of 1. 1 of 1 means that it is unique. So I'm going to do a Control F or a Command F. Control F if you're using Windows, Command F if you're using Mac. You can see this thing popped up for me. Then I'll just paste what I just copied. Good. You show me 1 of 1. Sweet. Then I go back into my IntelliJ and I enter my height. So that's going to be driver.findElement by XPath. My double quotes. And it's a field, so I want something to be sent into the field. Send keys. I'm just going to put 160 centimeter, but I'll just leave it as 160 for now. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to run my feature file, and that should fill in my first name, last name, email address, and my height. I'm not entirely sure if this locator by name is going to work, but let's see what happens. Good. Amazing. So it's filled in my first name, my last name, my email, and my height. So I've just seen Mr. Deji's message. So the URL should be this one. Let me try here. Okay. So I'm going to use a new URL and let me try to run that. Right, okay. Oh, this is gonna be okay. So I'm not gonna confuse everybody. So the reason why this one failed with a new URL is because the page isn't fully, the form is not fully visible. So we need to scroll down on the page. Then we need to tell Chrome Driver to fill in the name, but we're not going to do scrolling down on the page tonight. So I'm just going to revert back to the old URL, or hopefully in our following class, we are going to be using the new URL going forward, where we would have to implement a code in our automation pack that will that will tell Chrome Driver to scroll down, to scroll up. I think it's scrolling to scroll up to show the form properly. But I'm just going to use I'm going to use the old URL I was using before. I'm going to keep the new URL here. I'll just comment that out. So we're going to be using the old URL tonight, but going forward, we'll be using the new one. Right. So I have, where is that? So right now, I've been able to fill in my first name, last name, email, and my height. So now we're going to be moving on to selecting from a drop-down. So after selecting from a drop-down, we're going to end the class there tonight. I'll take questions. Then I'll allow everyone to go. and test out what we've done tonight, basically. So selecting from a drop down. So selecting from a drop down is a bit different. You have to be conscious or take note of the code for that drop down, like the HTML element there, you need to take note of it. So I'm going to inspect the drop down element. Good. You can see it says select. So there are some drop down that says div, divider. I think that's what div means. I'm just going to quickly double check, just a minute. Yeah. So div. So there are some drop downs that have either select or div. So div is like a divider or a division. So there are some, like I've mentioned, there are some drop downs that have the div tag or the select tag. So when you have drop downs like that, the way you would automate them would be different. If it's the div, you need to first tell Chrome driver to click on that drop down, then tell it to click on the specific value that you want. But if you have select as your tag, which is what we have here, for instance, then the way you would go around this is going to be different. You would have to use the select mechanism to select something from your drop down. So the way we implement this, so just a minute, I just want to quickly drink water. So the way we go about the select, like I mentioned, is a bit different. But first off, we need to inspect we need to get the locator for the drop down, and we already have it. Let me see. So yeah. So all I'm going to do now is to get the locator. I would use the XPath locator, for instance. So I've gone to right click on it, copy XPath, and then I'm going to paste it here. And I can see it's showing me 1 of 1. Great. So I'm going to move on to my IntelliJ now. But before I go, let me quit all of these ones. Just leave the one I'm working on. So and I select the right vegan option. Good. So first off, I need to first of all look for the element. So that's going to be driver.find element by XPath. Paste that. And then I need to it's going to come out as a string. String. Right. So once I have specified this one here, I need to then declare the select instance. I need to declare the select instance that I want to use, because like I mentioned before, we are attribute here is actually the tag here is a select tag, not the div. So when we have the select tag, we need to use the select imports in our package or in our project to be able to select what we want Chrome driver to select. So in order to do that, all I need to do is to create an instance of select. And we're going to be using the selenium.ui, the support.ui type of select. Then you can see it already says the value that I accept is a web driver, a web element. And right now, this is a web element. So what we can do here is to cut what we have here and then paste it in here. So this is basically inside the select bracket. You can see it inside the select bracket. Then after the bracket, put a full stop or a dot. Then there are different select methods you can use to select from the drop down. The most popular ones that I have used and you would be using as well, based on what you want to select, is you can select by index. Index means using the array values. Array start from 0, so you can select by index. It has 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 going on. Or you can select by value, or you can select by visible text. Visible text means the text that you have on the options, and the text we have on the options right now are either yes or no. So another way, so the way you can select, you can also deselect from a drop down. You can see deselect all, deselect by index, deselect by value, deselect by visible text. But right now we want to select from a drop down, and we're going to go with select by visible text. Another thing that you should take note of is the different select methods that you have here are already telling you the values they can accept. Select by index, for instance, says I can only accept integers. Integers are all numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Going on and on and on. Select by value, select by visible text is telling you I can accept a string. A string value, I can accept a string. So when we see string, integer, Boolean, those are all called data types in Java. String, an example of a string right now is this, test@test.com. An example of a string right now here is my first name. An example of a string right now here is last name. An example of a string right now here is 160. It is considered a string because it has double quotes. But if I use it without the double quotes, it is considered an integer. So I'm going to put a dot here again, dots. And I said we're going to use select by visible text. And the visible text I want to select here. I don't know what initial value we have on the page. So it says yes. So I'm going to select no. So I wanted to select the visible text no. Another thing you need to take note of is please type the values, the visible text value the way they are on the drop down. If it is all caps lock, everything needs to be caps lock. If it is all lower cases, everything needs to be lower cases. For instance, we have capital then small letter. So that's what I'm going to do as well in my code. And selecting my visible text, it's telling you I'm accepting only a string text. So for example, if I want to select my index, it's going to tell you I'm accepting. Where is it showing that? Oh, I wanted it to show that. I'm accepting only integers. INT means integers. So select by index is telling you I can only accept integers. Select By visible text, it's going to tell you I only accept strings. And if you want to type a string, you need to use double quotes. And the string value that we currently have in our dropdown is no, just like this. So right now, I'm going to try to run this test or run my feature file just to see what is going to happen to my dropdown. Great. So you can see it picked up the no value for us. Now let us see what happens if we select by index. I don't know if let me first check if the index value is showing in the code. Now with this one, I'm not sure if the index value is showing, but we can try 1 for index, because if we are dealing with index, it starts with 0, 1, and it's always going to be 0, 1. So let's see if we select the index as select by index, and we say 1. You can see I didn't add a double quote. I only put 1 inside and it accepted it. So let's see what happens if we select by index. If it's going to pick up the no option. Yay! So that worked. So selecting by index is going to be the value of 1 for no option. Selecting by visible text is going to be NO, the no itself inserted here. So yeah, so that's just how you do it. You deal with like drop downs in automation. So I think this is where we end the class for tonight. And I can
Please let me see your stop the animation. Please go, please. Thank you.
And I can address any questions that we have for tonight.
Up, please. Thank you.
Any questions?
Yes, I have a question
Okay.
on that drop down. I just want to understand why you use new select. Why do you put new on front? And I was thinking, what if you use click and select?
I think I already explained why we are going with select.
The new in front, yeah.
Yeah, I get. But you're also asking why you're not clicking on it, right?
Yes, please.
So that's
because
two.
I think, yes.
Okay. So the reason why we are not, so this is my third time explaining this today. So the reason why we are not clicking before we select is because based on the HTML element, I said that you need to first of all figure out what sort of element the dropdown has. If it has select as the tag, then you use the select approach. But if it has div, assuming it is div tag here, like div tag, then you need to tell Chrome driver to first click on the drop down before it clicks on the value for you. I don't know why, but that's just how we automate div tags that are around drop downs. But if your drop down has select tag, for instance, you just use the select approach that we've used here in the pack or in our step definition. So when I say pack, PACK, I mean our automation pack, which means our automation project as well. So the reason why we are using select here is because we are basically specifying or declaring a new instance of the select method. So if I right click on this, this is going to show me the different methods that are within Selenium support UI. There's a select, there are the different methods I can use as well. Select by visible text. So the reason why I'm using the new is to specify the select method inside my step definition. So I can obviously utilize other actions that I want the select to perform. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have any questions as well, like any further one, you can let me know also. Any other questions? Okay, if we don't have any other question, I can still look at one or two people's framework tonight, but you need to have done your step definition. That's just the criteria.
Hi, Oyin.
Hi.
Yeah, can I share my own screen for the framework?
Yep, that's fine.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I need to stop sharing. Okay.
Hi, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Okay. Right. So can I see your POM file, first of all? Okay, so can you scroll to the very good? So can you see from line 17? Can you highlight line 17 and keep going down?
To the very end.
Before the last, keep scrolling down. Before the last closing build, yeah. Can you delete that one? Good. So I'm gonna send you. So I think the error that you currently have, I have experienced that before, and I think the reason why that was happening was because I think it was either my laptop, my operating system, my IntelliJ version, and then the POM I was using was sort of not compatible at all. So I had to. So one of the previous QA.
Yeah, I think I've been able to correct that while you were helping others to set their framework and run their test. So this was what I had problem with before.
Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to send you a new POM. So the POM that I'm going to send you was what one of the previous QA interns reduced the POM file to. So just the recommended POMs are like inside and they work for me. and work for most of the other people that have used it as well. So I'm just going to send that to the group chat now. So you can just copy and paste it here.
Okay.
Yeah. Automation form. So I've just posted it in Telegram. Yeah, it's the correct one. And then if you go to your test runner, so while that one is loading up, if you go into your test runner,
Why is it something going back up? Okay.
good. Can you scroll to the very top, please? Okay, so I'm going to send something else into Telegram as well. I want you to copy the thing I just sent now. So delete what you have in your test runner right now.
Yeah.
Okay, can I see your
Oh.
POM file? Okay, if you go back to your test runner, you need to change the glue that you have there. So just change
Okay.
it to the name. No, don't delete.
Sorry. Okay. New. Is it package?
All I wanted you to do was just to change the name in the test runner to step devs.
Oh, I would have just edited.
Yeah. Because now you need to create a step definition from scratch. Yeah, I think you need to create a step definition again. Then if this call is still on, then I can help you take a look at the issue you're currently having. But yeah. Is anyone wanting to
Share their screen?
share your screen or you need any help?
I want to share my screen.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm waiting for you, Daniel.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Line 43 is throwing error. I don't know. Can you see my screen, please?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Can you put your cursor on the red line? Click on the red bulb. Okay, can you scroll to the very top? Keep scrolling. Yeah, your select has not been... You're not using the correct select. If you scroll back down, double click on that select I currently have and type select again. S, capital S. E. I want you to type it out. L. You need to use a third. The second one is the second one we are using.
Okay. Yeah. Select by index.
Yeah, delete that one and type the select again for that index. I think it's meant to be a small s, so if you delete the select by index.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else needing help? The group is a little bit quiet. Does anyone have any question or anything at all? Gania, are you almost done?
I think I'm done.
Okay, you can share your screen.
This is it.
Right. You can see your step definition is not created inside a folder. Can you drag and drop it inside of it, please? So you need to, yeah.
Report.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, you're not done though. You've not done the WebDriver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can do that one. Then you can come back up. I think someone else is speaking in the background.
Yeah.
I think I heard someone else speaking. Any question you don't, so any question that you have, it doesn't have to be like relating to today's class. It can be maybe any interview question or anything about how your day-to-day could potentially be like, or anything like that, just while we are waiting for Gania to come back up. Okay. No one has any questions? That is fine. Well, I think we'll just end the class here today then. You can stop sharing, Evie. And I'm just going to wait on the call with Dania to resolve the issue she has. And if anybody else wants to wait as well, you can wait. You're free to wait also.
Stop sharing or stop recording.
Sorry, stop recording. Thank you.